Hey there everybody, how's it going today? My name is Hayden and this is my cheap Jeep. Today I'd like to show you what kind of Jeep you can get for $4,400 with a catch. This Jeep cost me $4,400 but has ended up of course costing a little bit more than that because it is a Jeep. So I'm going to kind of show you around here real quick what all you get in a $4,000 Jeep. So the first thing that really drew me to this Jeep when I was looking on Craigslist was all of the different LEDs that this has. It had these nice LED headlights, LED pods, and a 52-inch light bar already installed the way that I would do it, sort of. These brackets are a little bit messed up, and I'm probably going to end up replacing these, but I just kind of looked past that because they worked at the time. It has brand new 31-inch Goodyear Wrangler tires with aftermarket wheels. It has this gorgeous aftermarket bumper. The rolled fenders are already done, which is a modification that I would do eventually. It has a high lift jack on it. And it has an aftermarket soft top that is easy to fold down, which I very much enjoy. And then on the back, it has an aftermarket tire carrier and LED tail lights, which is another thing that I really enjoy. It already has a tow hitch built into it with a Smitty built bumper. So overall, there was a lot to like about this Jeep. And another thing that I really liked when I was looking at it is when you look under here, you can see that is a brand new transmission and clutch, which really got me excited because my last YJ that I had a lot of issues with its transmission. So, moving on to the inside, the interior was another thing that really drew me to it. Now ignore these sub wires that I just put in because I put in a subwoofer. There's a little bit of wiring work still to be done in here, but overall, it's got best top seat covers. It already has a Grant racing steering wheel, an aftermarket radio with an aux cord, and the heater actually works. Another thing that got me excited was it already has this back seat in it, which is awesome because my last Jeep didn't have that either. So now you might be wondering, how did I get such a good deal on such a good looking Jeep, at least to me? This Jeep only has 115,000 miles on it. I bought it with 114,900. And I was looking on Craigslist one day and I saw this with all the cool lights and everything, and the fact that it had the bigger tires and everything. And I got really excited because I was like, dang, that's awesome. They had it listed for $5,000, and it was in a town near me, only 30 minutes away. So basically, I hopped in my car and I met the person a few days later after I contacted them on Craigslist, and looked at it and test drove it, made sure everything kind of worked on it. All the lights worked at the time, but some of the wires were burnt underneath, which worried me. But the guy was like, oh, it's all good, it just needs this and that, and you know, like the normal like used car buyer, like, or used car salesman kind of thing. And so of course I was complacent and was like, oh, it'll be easy to fix. And so I went ahead and paid $4,400 for it. I talked him down. He fought tooth and nail. It was like he made me go to the ATM and grab more cash basically because he wouldn't take what I brought. So I ended up paying $4,400, and I got it on the interstate and realized that my temperature gauge wasn't working, so I thought that was kind of odd, but I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I just got it for $4,400 and has a lot of stuff done to it. So, and then I ended up getting home and I looked underneath in the hood, just checking more things out because I wanted to make sure everything was good on it to run. And I looked in my radiator cap after I'd let it cool down, and it was a chocolatey brown color in the coolant. So that freaked me out, and I ended up taking it to my mechanic the next day and had them flush the radiator, which was $100, which is steep in hindsight, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. So I basically took it in there and had them flush the radiator and wanted to know why the temperature gauge didn't work. And so they looked at it and they found out that the temperature sensor was not installed. They had put a plug in there in the engine. So I had them remove the plug and put in a new temperature sensor at the cost of $130. And then I got home and my radiator was fine. It drove fine and the temperature gauge worked again, so that was exciting. I took it through emissions because I had spent $300 to get a catalytic converter and exhaust put on to the tailpipe so I could pass emissions. So far I had about $600 into just getting it to where it'll run fine and pass emissions. So then I get it home, I park it, I'm all excited because I passed emissions, I've got tags, it's legal, and I think everything's all good. And I come out the next day, and there's a huge puddle of antifreeze on the ground and a huge puddle of oil. So instantly I was like, what did the mechanic do? Did they install the radiator wrong or put on a cap wrong or something like that when they flushed it? And so I took it back and wanted to have them check it out and see what was going on with like the leaks. And so they basically told me that my radiator had been using stop leak, and so I was gonna have to get that replaced. And then they told me that my oil pressure sending unit was leaking oil. So, oh, big sigh. I was like, well, I'm gonna look and find a radiator and do that myself. So I ended up replacing the radiator myself with a $100 eBay radiator, which I'll do a review on later. And then I also had them do the oil pressure sending unit because I'm dumb and don't want to do any of that stuff myself, which I actually would have enjoyed doing myself, but I just don't know how to do it yet, so it's a learning experience. So I had them do the oil pressure sending unit, and my oil leak was gone. So now, if you're keeping tally, oh well, I'll go ahead and tell you the oil pressure sending unit was an extra $130, I think, same price as the temperature sensor. So now I'm at around $750 if I do math in my quick head, which I'm not good at. So on top of the $4,400, now I'm in it about $5,000, which is what the guy was asking. So at this point, I'm okay with it, and $5,000 is still not bad for a Jeep that runs like this, and it does what it does and has all the stuff done to it. So I went ahead and bought a new radiator for $100 off eBay. That was a good decision, and you can actually see it. It's really nice looking. It's 100% aluminum. I haven't had any issues out of it yet, and it keeps temperature really, really well, much better than the last one. So I went ahead and put that in myself. It took about 3 hours, but that's because I'm learning, and I didn't have a deep socket set to take it off super easily, so I was sitting in there like wrenching, and so now I'm at like $5,100, so still not too bad. So let's see, that's about where I stand right now with this Jeep. I'm at $5,200, somewhere about that, once you add in all this stuff that I've had to do and registering and taxes and stuff. So it's been a journey, just like any used Jeep, I guess. You really don't know what to expect. It could have been somebody's baby, but I feel like there's almost always going to be something wrong with a cheap Jeep. That's why it's in quotation marks, your cheap Jeep, because there is no such thing as a cheap Jeep, I have learned. But that's okay, because it's like, especially in my community, there's a big group of people that have Wranglers, and it's really exciting to see like another Wrangler and do the Wrangler wave, you know. It's just awesome. So I would definitely recommend searching on Craigslist and trying to find a Jeep for you, whether it be a Cherokee, a Wrangler, or any kind of Jeep, honestly. I would totally recommend it. Not necessarily as a first car, but we'll talk about that more later in a different video. So yeah, if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. If you want to know any more or see any different content from me, just let me know. I'm kind of new at this. This is my first video. So yeah, just let me know in the comments, and hopefully leave a like if you like this video.